The rain was pouring heavily that evening, washing away the dust of the small town. Mr. Armin, a young, kind-hearted teacher, stayed late at school, finishing papers and cleaning up the classroom. He wasn't paid much, but teaching gave him purpose. It was the one place where he felt he could make a difference. His old shoes squeaked on the wet floor as he locked the classroom door, ready to head home to his tiny apartment where a flickering bulb and a cup of tea awaited him. As he walked through the corridor, he suddenly heard a soft sob echoing through the empty hall. He turned and saw a little girl sitting alone on the bench outside the art room, clutching her backpack tightly. Her hair was soaked, and tears rolled down her pink cheeks. Armin knelt beside her gently, his voice filled with warmth. "Hey there, why are you crying, little one?" The girl looked up, startled, and wiped her tears. I missed my school bus," she stammered, "and my driver didn't come. Papa was supposed to pick me up, but he never came." Armin's heart ached. The little girl couldn't have been older than 6. He offered her his handkerchief, smiling softly. "It's okay. We'll wait together. Maybe he's stuck in the rain." They sat together in the small waiting area. Armin fetched her a cup of warm milk from the canteen, and soon, her sobs faded into giggles as he made funny faces to cheer her up. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lena," she replied shyly. "My mom used to make me warm milk like this," her voice trailed off. "But she went to heaven." Armin's heart tightened. He nodded gently, hiding his sadness. "Heaven must be proud to have such a brave girl like you." Hours passed, and it was getting dark. No one came. Armin tried calling the number in Lena's notebook, but there was no answer. So, he decided to walk her home himself, umbrella in hand. They walked slowly through the rain, the little girl holding his hand tightly. When they reached her home, a massive mansion at the edge of town, Armin was stunned. The tall iron gates, marble driveway, and glowing chandeliers behind glass doors made him realize that Lena belonged to a world far different from his own. Before he could knock, the door opened, and a man in a sharp suit stood there, his face pale, his eyes heavy with exhaustion. "Lena," he exclaimed, rushing forward. The little girl ran into his arms, crying with relief. The man looked up at Armin with confusion. "Who are you?" Armin smiled politely. "I'm her teacher, sir. She missed her ride, so I brought her home." The man blinked, clearly moved. "Thank you," he said after a pause, his voice trembling slightly. I should have been there. I'm sorry she troubled you." "No trouble at all," Armin replied kindly. "She's a wonderful student." That night, Armin went home with wet clothes but a warm heart. He didn't know that his small act of kindness would change his life forever. The next morning, as Armin entered the school, the principal called him into the office. A black car was parked outside, and out stepped the same man, Lena's father. He introduced himself as Mr. Rahim, CEO of a large company. He extended his hand to Armin with genuine respect. "Mr. Armin," he said, "I came to thank you properly. My daughter wouldn't stop talking about you. You stayed with her when I couldn't. You see, ever since my wife passed away, I've been so consumed with work that I forgot what truly mattered. You reminded me." Armin was speechless. Rahim continued, "People like you, teachers who care, even when the world doesn't, you're the ones shaping lives. I'd like to do something for you." Armin shook his head humbly. "Sir, I didn't help her for a reward. I just did what anyone should do." Rahim smiled faintly. "Not everyone would. But tell me honestly, what's your biggest dream?" Armin hesitated. "To open a small school someday, where children who can't afford education can still learn with love." Rahim nodded thoughtfully. A few days later, Armin received a letter. Inside was a bank statement showing a generous donation made in his name, enough to buy land and build the very school he dreamed of. A note was attached, for the men who reminded a father of love. Months passed. Armin's small dream school opened on the outskirts of the town, a place filled with laughter, books, and hope. Every morning, Lena would arrive with her father, waving at Armin before running to class. And every time Rahim saw her smile, he felt a deep peace, as though his late wife was watching over them. One rainy afternoon, as the first bell rang in Armin's new school, he looked at the children's joyful faces and whispered, "Kindness always comes back." And it did not forget to subscribe for more.